Hi and welcome to this demo of how to create challenges on Conqueror.com. So in this video we're going to create 3 challenges, a simple one, an advanced one and one involving voting. To get started, you'll notice on my profile page and also in various other pages on the site there are a couple of big buttons. The first is to find challenges, which is covered in another demo, so the one we're interested in is the button to create a new challenge. When I click on that, I get 2 options. I can create either a simple or an advanced challenge. Now the only difference between these is that you use a simple challenge if you only want your challenge to feature one event. For example, how far someone can run in a particular time, or how fast they can cycle a particular distance, or how many times they can lift a particular weight. So when you create a simple challenge, the competitors in your challenge are only going to have to enter one number, or none at all if the challenge involves other people voting for their entry. However, it's worth thinking carefully because events can include other measurements, such as the competitor's weight if you're going to apply a weight correction to their score as part of the challenge. So in that case you'd have 2 or more events and would need to create an advanced challenge. First off, we're going to create a simple challenge, and the challenge I'm going to create is my favourite run at the moment, which is a scenic run around the outskirts of Macclesfield Forest in Cheshire. I can of course create running challenges that are completely general, where you just have to complete a particular distance as fast as possible, so that anyone can join in wherever they are. And that's fine for track running or running on the flat, but as soon as you start running off-road, it becomes much fairer and more fun to create challenges over specific routes, even though that means only people who can get to that route can take part. So all this challenge involves is running a 5.2 mile very hilly route around the outskirts of Macclesfield Forest as fast as you can. What I'm going to do in a moment is embed a map of the route from my Map My Run. You don't have to do this. You could describe the route carefully in the challenge description or put a link to Map My Run or other mapping sites, but embedding a map is a really nice way to do things. So that means in this case I don't need to include too much detail in here about the route. Now the next thing is to determine how the challenge is measured. Because we're talking about running a particular route as fast as possible, the challenge is going to be time-based, and in fact it's likely to take most people under an hour, so I'm going to leave the measurement type as minute and seconds. I could instead make it be measured in hours, minutes and seconds, but it doesn't really matter either way in this case. Also, this challenge is about running the route in as short a time as possible, so that means the competitor that wins will be the one with the lowest score. I'll also set the category as a running challenge to help people find it, and I can set some keywords, so I might put cross-country in here. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to post the route for this challenge, so to do that I need a free Map My Run account. So you'll see here I've already registered and drawn the route out, and there's a button just off the screen here that reads Add this map to your website or blog. And if I click there, I'll get some code for embedding a map into a website. So I just need to copy and paste that back into Conqueror.com, and that should put a map into the challenge. I can also set the challenge appearance by uploading a photo or video, for example a picture to grab people's attention or a video demonstrating technique, but I'm just going to leave them blank for now. I can always come back in and edit the challenge to set these. And I can set the appearance theme for this challenge, so in this case I might select green just because this route involves running through lots of forest. So you'll see that's all there is to creating a simple challenge. It's very quick and easy. If I go to my brand new challenge, you can see the description of what's involved, and I have the route map embedded. If I go to the leaderboard, I'm automatically entered because it's my challenge, and I'll need at some point to set a score as usual. I can also start spreading word of this challenge to my friends, whether they're already members of Conqueror or via email, so that I start getting people involved to compete with. So now I'll show you how to create an advanced challenge, which takes a little longer but is still very easy. I'm going to create a weight corrected 1000 metre rowing machine sprint challenge, so it's still fairly simple. It's just going to involve competitors entering 2 numbers for their score, the time that it takes them to row 1000 metres on a Concept 2 rowing machine, and their weight. So I put in a little bit of a description so people will know what to do. And in this case it's again a challenge where the fastest person wins, so it's a case of lowest score wins. But you'll notice that for an advanced challenge there's no drop downs to specify the measurement type, because that will depend on the events that make up the challenge. So next we click to add an event. All advanced challenges must have at least one event added. I'll add the first event, which is just the time to row 1,000 metres on a rowing machine. I could put a more detailed description here, but that's not needed in this case. And you'll see here the challenge type, which will leave as time-based, and we just want to select minutes and seconds for the measurement type, as 1,000 metres should only take a few minutes. If you're creating a more complicated challenge involving adding together events that take very different times, such as adding something measured in hours to something measured in seconds, then you'll need to take great care in how you set these up. Similarly, if you're adding distance-based measurements, such as one event measured in kilometres to one measured in centimetres, it's up to you to scale things properly. Conqueror doesn't understand about differences between times or distances, so if for example you add 1 hour to 1 minute, the result is 2, not 1 hour 1 minute. Don't worry if you get confused, just drop us a line via team@conqueror.com and we'll help you set up your challenge. Next I'm going to add another event, and this time it's not going to be a real event in the sense of something you go away and do, it's just going to be the competitor's weight. Now because you'll see that there isn't an ability to set the measurement type explicitly as kilograms or pounds in these drop downs, I pick the event type Other and just select Number as the measurement type. So to avoid any confusion I need to think carefully and make it clear in the event title that competitors need to enter their weight in kilogram, so there's no confusion amongst people taking part in the challenge. So I could keep adding as many events as I want here to create a more complicated challenge, but in this case 2 is all I need, so I click on Save and Return and you'll see the events have been added. I now complete the rest of the settings for this challenge, so clearly the category for this one is rowing. There's no route in this case because obviously you can do this one wherever there's a rowing machine. I won't set an image or video for the challenge, and I'll leave the default blue theme. So I click Next, and this time, because I'm creating a challenge with multiple events, I get taken to this screen where I'm going to set how competitors' scores are calculated from their event scores. Now don't be put off by all this text, it's just there to explain the range of things you can do when calculating the challenge score, and also to highlight a few common pitfalls. The important thing is the challenge formula, which is what we need to set, using the individual event scores. So in this case E1 is the time to row 1,000 metres and E2 is the competitor's weight. The default is adding those two numbers together, but in this case that doesn't make any sense, so we're going to need to do something a bit cleverer. I've already been to the Concept2 website and found this formula for weight correcting scores on the rowing machine, so that's what I'm going to use in my challenge. So all I need to do to weight correct any time on the rowing machine is multiply the real time by this factor calculated from the competitor's weight in kilograms in order to level the field between people of different weights. So if I return to Conqueror, I just multiply E1 by that factor calculated from the weight, which is E2. I need to put the calculation in brackets so that the weight gets divided by 77.27 first, before the result of that calculation is raised to the power of 2 divided by 9. So that's all there is to it in terms of the formula. It looks a bit horrible, but it's just a little bit of maths. If you ever get stuck or can't work out exactly how to create a challenge that works like the way you want it to work, don't panic. Just drop us a line at team@conqueror.com. So anyway, I've entered my formula now, and notice that below that I've got a pair of drop downs to set the overall challenge measurement type. These control how the competitors' overall scores are displayed, whether as a number or a time or distance-based measurement. So this is defaulted to time and minutes and seconds, which is exactly what we want in this case because our first event is measured like that, and our formula is intended to give us an adjusted version of that time. In other cases where we are trying to do something clever with multiple events, we might find we need to adjust this, but in this case we're fine. We also have some boxes for entering example scores to help us check that our formula and our measurement types are working as we intend. So for example, if I put in a sensible time for 1,000 metres and put in my weight of 65 kilograms and click to calculate, it gives me my calculated score back as 4 minutes, 0 seconds and 57 hundredths, which sounds about right because what the formula is doing is correcting for weight, and it looks like it's correcting to an average weight of 77.27 kilograms. So because I'm lighter than that, it's working out that I should have a faster time. So I'm happy that my formula is working and with how the score is going to be displayed. So I can click to Save and View Challenge, and I'm now in the leaderboard as before, and I can update my score and start promoting this challenge to persuade my friends to get involved. So again, it's fairly straightforward to create even an advanced challenge. And remember that if you do get stuck on the maths bit because you want to do something clever with your challenge, just drop us a line via team@conqueror.com as we're here to help. Finally, I'm just going to quickly demonstrate setting up a simple voting challenge. I could create an advanced one that combines multiple votes or combines a vote with other measured events. For example, you might create one where you have to do something as fast as possible, but combine this with a style rating so other people can rate your technique. But here I'll just create a simple challenge. So what I'm going to do is create a challenge where you can nominate who you think should be Sports Personality of the Year. For those of you who are outside the UK, this is an annual award made by the British Broadcasting Corporation, where they select a shortlist of top sports people who've achieved great things in the last year, and the public vote for their favourite. It's great fun, but the thing is I never agree with the shortlist, plus it's for British sports people only, so I want to create a challenge that opens that out and allows people to nominate and make their case for their favourite sports person, wherever they're from. So we need to set the challenge type to Other, because it's not time or distance based, and select Votes for the measurement type. Because it's a vote, it's going to be highest score wins, and I'll set the category to Fun Challenges because this is just for fun. There's obviously no routes involved, and I don't have a challenge photo or video. So that's all I need to do to set up the challenge. It's very quick, and just to highlight how to enter a voting challenge, I'm going to click to Add a Score. Now obviously there's no score to add because that's determined by other people's votes, but you remember from other challenges that there's the ability to also add comments, photos and videos associated with the score. So in a voting challenge you can click to Add Score, then nominate my favourite sports person and make a case for them in the comment. So I like Jessica Ennis, the World and European Heptathlon Champion, so that's who I'm going to nominate, and then click to save. What I'm also going to do is click to add a video, and I found some footage on YouTube of her winning the 800 metres in the European Heptathlon final, so I'm going to add that to my entry by copying the sharing URL back into Conqueror. If I wanted to be really persuasive, of course, I could film myself making a pitch for why Jess is so great, but for now I'll just post the 800 metres video and click to add existing video. So then I'll click next, and my entry is in the leaderboard with the video and my nomination. And now it's just a question of promoting my challenge to get more people involved, and of course trying to persuade people to vote for my entry. So I hope that's been useful to show you how to create your own challenges on Conqueror, and that it's given you the confidence to start creating some great challenges to share with friends. The most important thing to remember is that if you ever hit any problems when creating challenges, just drop us a line at team@conqueror.com and we're happy to help you create great challenges. I look forward to competing with you all soon on conqueror.com.